They didn't know that revenge would be my response to the betrayal of my biological daughter, who lied to turn her stepfather against me, and to everything that happened. The man I loved believed a lie my daughter told him. My daughter looked into my eyes, and with a single sentence, he ruined my life. Lie. My name is Lauren. And if you told me years ago that I'd be sitting here retelling how my own family turned on me, I would have laughed. Because I believed in love. I believed in loyalty. I believed that if you gave your best to the people you loved, they'd give it back. But life doesn't always return what you pour into it. Sometimes it drains you until there's nothing left but a reflection of who you used to be. For most of my adult life, I was the one holding everything together. The one who made sure bills were paid, birthdays were remembered, the fridge was stocked, and everyone else's needs came before my own. Mark, my husband, used to call me the glue of our family. He'd smile, kiss my forehead, and say, "You're what keeps us grounded." And I believed him. I believed that those words meant safety, stability, love. But one night, all it took was one sentence to destroy it all. "She's lying, Dad. She's always hated me." Those words came from my daughter, my own daughter, Emily, the child I raised, the one I stayed awake for when she had nightmares, the one I worked double shifts to send to school, the one I loved so fiercely it hurt. Her voice trembled just enough to sound believable. Her eyes glistened like she was the victim. And Mark, he didn't even ask for my side of the story. He just looked at me blankly, like a stranger he couldn't trust. "Lauren," he said, "I think you should leave for a while. This tension isn't healthy for anyone." That sentence broke something inside me. I remember standing in the living room, looking at the man I thought I knew, realizing that I was suddenly outnumbered in my own home. I wanted to scream, to explain, but the silence was louder than any defense I could have given. So I packed my things. Every folded shirt felt like a betrayal. Every pair of shoes I slipped into my bag felt like a goodbye. When the door closed behind me, the cold night air hit my face. And I thought, so this is what it feels like to lose everything in one breath. The first few nights, I stayed in a friend's guest room. I stared at the ceiling for hours, replaying that moment again and again, hoping I'd wake up and realize it was a nightmare. My phone stayed silent. I wanted it to ring. I wanted to hear him say, "I'm sorry, come home." But it never came. Instead, I saw Emily's posts online, smiling photos, little captions meant for me. Some people don't know when their time is up. I knew exactly what she was doing. The humiliation burned. I started questioning everything. Was I too strict, too distant, too something? But then a thought hit me, quiet but sharp. I wasn't the problem, they were. The moment Mark chose to believe a lie without even asking me for the truth, something inside me changed. A switch flipped. I stopped crying. I started remembering. Every late night I'd spent helping him build his business. Every dollar I'd invested. Every piece of myself I'd poured into his dream. I still had the papers, contracts, bank transfers, signatures. My name wasn't just written on his past, it was carved into his success. So I gathered everything, printed it all, filed it neatly, and when I looked at the stack of proof sitting on my desk, I didn't feel sadness anymore. I felt calm, cold, but calm. I called my lawyer, an old friend, and told her everything. She listened quietly, then said, "Lauren, you're sitting on gold. He has no idea how much you contributed, does he?" I smiled. "He will." That night, for the first time in weeks, I slept peacefully. 3 weeks later, Mark showed up at the door. He looked tired, worn out, unsure of himself. "Lauren," he said softly, "maybe we both overreacted. Emily's young. She said things she didn't mean. Come home. Let's fix this." His words might have melted me once, but not anymore. I handed him an envelope. "I already have," I said. He frowned, opened it, and went pale. "Divorce papers." "You can't be serious." he whispered. Oh, I'm very serious. He ran a hand through his hair, frustration spilling into his voice. You're being unreasonable. You're angry. You'll regret this. Maybe, I said, but at least I'll regret it on my own terms. That's when Emily appeared at the top of the stairs. Her arms folded, lips curled into a smirk. Good riddance, she said. Dad, don't waste your time. I looked at her, this girl I once would have died for, and said nothing, because silence hurts more than words ever could. I closed the door on both of them, knowing it was the last time I'd ever beg for understanding. From that moment on, I moved in silence. Revenge didn't come from rage, it came from clarity. Every morning, I sat with my lawyer, going through each file, each number, each receipt. Together, we built my case piece by piece. Mark thought he could erase me from his story, but I was the story. When the first court hearing arrived, he tried to look confident, tried to act like the man in control. But the moment my lawyer presented the financial documents, the illusion shattered. Every transaction, every investment, every contract he'd signed with my name beside his, it was all there. His composure cracked. His empire, the one he'd built on my silence, began to crumble under the weight of the truth. Emily sat in the back, watching. Her smug expression faltered as the reality sank in. The court granted me half of everything, half the company, half the properties, half the life he thought he could keep without me. That was the moment I realized something important. Revenge isn't fire, it's ice. It waits. It spreads slowly. It freezes everything you once thought was untouchable. Over the next few months, Mark's business collapsed. His investors backed out, his reputation took a hit, and his finances spiraled. He tried calling me, left voicemails, begged me to talk. I never responded. Every unanswered ring was another reminder that I was finally free. And Emily, she started to fade too. The world that once believed her lies now saw through them. Friends stopped reaching out. The family she thought she'd secured began to fall apart from within. I didn't have to lift a finger. They were destroying themselves perfectly. When the second hearing came, the judge finalized everything. I signed my papers, and as I walked out of the courtroom, I didn't feel triumph. I felt peace. That night, I sat alone in my new apartment, glass of wine in hand, and made one final decision. I wasn't going to spend my share of the money on a bigger house or luxury. I was going to use it to build something meaningful. So I created the Second Chance Foundation, a program for women starting over after betrayal. Every dollar I took from Mark became a seed for someone else's future. When he found out, he was furious. He came to see me one last time. You're humiliating me, he said. You're destroying my reputation. No, I said. I'm just reminding you what integrity looks like. He didn't know how to respond. Eventually, he left. Months passed. His company folded. His house was sold. He moved into a small apartment. I heard he spends his nights alone, sitting by the window, staring out at nothing. Emily moved to another city. We hadn't spoken in over a year. Until one evening, in the middle of winter, the doorbell rang. When I opened it, she was standing there, my daughter. Her once perfect hair was messy, her cheeks red from the cold, her eyes swollen from crying. Mom, she whispered. For a second, I couldn't breathe. Please, she said, can we talk? I didn't answer. She stepped closer. I know what I did. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'm sorry. I was angry. I was jealous. I thought you were taking him away from me, and now I lost him too. He doesn't even speak to me anymore. Her voice cracked, and for a moment, I saw the little girl. She used to be the one who used to fall asleep in my lap, the one who used to draw pictures of us holding hands. Mom, please, say something. I looked at her, my heart torn between the mother I used to be and the woman I had become. Emily, I said quietly, you didn't just lie. You broke something you can't fix. You made me doubt my worth as a mother, as a woman, as a human being. And now you want forgiveness? She nodded, tears falling freely. I'll do anything. I just want to make it right. I shook my head. Forgiveness is for people who didn't know what they were doing. You knew. You saw how much it would hurt me, and you did it anyway. She sobbed harder. I know. I hate myself for it. Good, I said. Hate yourself long enough to change. She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. You should go, I whispered. Start over. Build a life that isn't built on destroying someone else's. She hesitated, eyes pleading. You really won't forgive me? I looked straight into her eyes and said, no, because forgiving you would mean erasing everything I survived. And I earned my survival. She froze, then nodded slowly. Okay, she whispered. I understand. She turned away, walking down the steps, the sound of her boots crunching against the snow. I watched until she disappeared into the darkness. When I closed the door, I didn't cry. There were no tears left for her, for Mark, for any of it. I poured myself another glass of wine, sat by the window, and watched the city lights flicker in the distance. Somewhere out there, Mark was alone. Emily was facing herself. And me? I was finally free. I didn't need their apologies. I didn't need their love. I had peace because revenge was never about hurting them. It was about reclaiming the parts of me they tried to erase. And as the snow fell outside, soft and silent, I realized something I'd never truly understood before. Survival isn't just living through the pain. It's building a life so beautiful, so strong, that no one can ever break you again.